I'm here with Eva and Amy, the two hit stars and fan favourites from the reality TV show I Kissed the Girl. They were on this show and had a wild time. If you haven't binged the series, go on iPlayer. I binged. I felt like I became their friend. I lived through their dramas, their ups, their downs, the romance, the intrigue. And I'm here to ask them more questions about their experience. Hi, Amy and Eva. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Welcome. Well, I'll get straight to it. The question really is, why did you go on reality TV? What made you sign up?
I think for us, it's just not, or for me anyway, it's like not just reality TV. It's not just entertainment. It's representation. And I grew up in a household with two lesbian sisters, so there was 3 gay children in the house. So it was very much putting what we would have wanted to have growing up on the TV, and doing that, because we struggled all of us didn't come out until very way later in life. And if we had that kind of representation in the media at a younger age, maybe we would have felt comfortable enough and saw ourselves more on the TV. It would have made all the difference. And I'm so glad I did. Like, it's the proudest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I just thought it was like really cool, because when I was younger, everything I'd watched with like gay girls in it or like lesbians in it, I was like obsessed with, and I was like, oh my word, they're so cool. So like I was just like, that would be so cool if I was a part of that. And as well, I was also in like a bit of a reckless era, and I was in a bit of a confined relationship previous, so I just wanted to get back out there. And obviously it was just like a load of girls in Italy. I was like, yeah.
I mean, when I grew up, it was only Ellen. There was one show.
Exactly.
And to be gay, to be a lesbian, you had to have short hair and look like Ellen.
Exactly.
You couldn't be anything other than that.
I didn't think I was lesbian because I didn't look like the stereotypical lesbian.
The same, exactly the same. That's my experience. Was just, I thought, well, that's it. I can't be lesbian because I don't look like her. So yeah.
Exactly that. And I really clung to like all of the lesbian lore growing up, and the lesbian like canon of like, episode 6, season 4 of Glee, when there's like one kiss, and it's like, to have a show where
forwarding and rewinding
it
and then putting it forward.
Exactly.
We've all been there. We've all been doing the YouTube clip.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the timestamps. We know them off by heart.
Yeah, of course.
So to be a part of something that was just like solely about sapphic women, but like jumped at the opportunity. Also, like, free holiday to Italy.
Of course. I mean,
Yes.
and the fun. Like you put it, like, the fun as well of it.
Exactly.
Was it what you expected? That's when you were experiencing it.
Yes and no, I'd say.
I would say it was a lot more fun than I expected.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot more fun, yeah.
Yeah, the first like couple of days were crazy because it was like time moved so differently out there.
Yeah.
Like Demi, for example, who was one of the first girls to go home, she felt like she was like the whole journey in there. Like it felt like she was there for weeks, and it'd been like 2 days.
Yeah, and I was only in there I think I only was with Demi for like a day and a
Yeah,
half
true.
maybe, and I genuinely felt like I'd known her for about like a whole month. Like.
Literally.
Did you feel like sort of you got to ignore the cameras, like and because you're all strapped in with your microphones, which actually I loved, as you use them as to hold your towels up.
Yeah,
which I love that. When you had your towels around, you used them to hold your towels up. But did you think that you could, ignore the crew? Did you ignore the crew? Were you able to just immerse yourselves in actually that journey?
It was sometimes a bit scary how easy it was to forget, like even like going to the toilet, like I completely forgot I had a mic on.
So true.
But yeah, no, it was very simple. I feel like after an hour of me being in there, I just like completely forgot about it.
But it's just like, also the crew are like always there, or kind of always-ish there. So it's just like they become part of the whole experience as well. Like
they're like part of the furniture.
They are part of the furniture, and
Yeah.
they're part of the like conversations that I'd have with them, because they were all queer as well. Like, which was an amazing environment to be in. It was just kind of being like, oh, I'm talking to Fiorenza. Oh, I'm talking to Shah, who's a producer, and it's like. Do you know what I mean? It's like just one conversation is recorded, one's not, and you wouldn't even think about.
It's like another friend.
Exactly.
It's
just another girl in the masseria. Like, yeah, exactly that.
Okay, so my question, I guess, is: did you expect to find real love? Did you expect to find real connection?
Yeah, I fully did. I fully went in, was like, oh my god, I'm going to come back with the love of my life. Like, my friends were convinced as well, because
no spoilers for anyone that's not listening. Yep.
Yeah. My friends were convinced as well, and like I genuinely was like, this is it. That's also the reason why I went in the first place, was to find love. Like, I'm such a lover girl, and yeah.
I thought I was gonna find like a first healthy love, to be honest, because previously going for straight girls, obviously that wasn't very achievable. So I genuinely probably one of the main reasons I went in was because I wanted to branch out more. This sounds so bad, but into like actual queer women, because like,
no, I get that.
No, but
yeah.
like every girl I'd been with up until then, I've been their first girl. So I was like, you know, finally I'll be able to find someone who's on the same page as me. So it was so much more likely for me to find love.
And I guess, I mean, you know, you talked about like letting go. You definitely let go, Amy, and you went sort of full Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
You sort of went, you know, lifeguard, Scouts lifeguard, I think it was. You know, did you feel like you were letting go, or did it feel like performative at times?
Not like never. I think that's the thing with me is like I love to entertain.
Oh, shit. I can vouch for this.
Like, yeah.
Off camera, on camera, the exact same.
Yeah.
Like
You came across very real, actually, I have to say, both of you. It's like you could really feel your characters and like how you were and your personalities.
Yeah. I think that's what comes back to like the crew as well, in terms of like it didn't feel like we were on a movie set. It felt like we were just hanging out with all our friends all of the time, whether it be with the producers who were producers, but like they were just mates. So could just be genuine. Also, I'm so ADHD, I can not be.
Yeah, I don't think.
I completely empathize with that. Yeah. You just have to be real.
Yeah,
You
I
are
literally just
always
have to be
living
like,
on that
I
knife
can't-
edge of
yeah.
your personality. Yeah.
I can't
think-
stop myself from speaking. Yeah.
Like whenever I watch the show back, I see myself as I can't lie, a little bit boring. I see myself.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually, sort of
because
when you watch yourself back, is that you? How did you feel
me,
you were?
But it's me with a lot of my walls up, and like I think Amy can vouch for this. Like there was moments between Amy and I, like later on in the show, that weren't shown, and I'm a lot more myself, and like that's when we really bonded. And like even now, like I am a lot more like out there, and like I'm more comfortable being a little bit more feminine, a little bit more silly. But
Yeah,
when
we
I
saw
watch
in a reunion. It's kind of the talk of the town, actually. Everyone asked me to ask you about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a big thing that you sort of, you went in and you were a little bit more masculine dressing, and then you sort of in the reunion, you flipped it round. But you had said all the way along, I like to do a little bit of both and everything.
I do. Like I always knew I like to do a little bit of both, and like don't get me wrong, the odd time I would before the show, but I'm a lot more comfortable doing it now because I'm in like a bigger queer space, and like my girlfriend as well, like she loves me feminine as well, so
Love
it's like
that.
another like little boost, and I'm just like I just love it.
But yeah, but it's not sticking to labels. It's sort of
Exactly.
getting a little bit of everything.
Because like sometimes
Why not?
I'll post and I'll wear like a slick bun, and people will be like, "Oh, I thought you were being more feminine." I'm like, "Babes,
Yeah.
I literally just
I'm
do what I want to
everything.
do."
It's a sliding scale, like
Exactly.
Like, I'm
It is
like
fluid
so
every
masculine
day.
now, and I'm famously super femme.
Yeah, and every time I have a drink, I feel a little bit more
Yeah.
feminine.
Every time we have a drink, anything goes. Let's be honest, for all
So
of us.
true.
And I guess so. Yeah. So Amy, how do you feel you were portrayed? Do you think it's an accurate representation of you?
Yeah, I'm surprised by, because a lot of the like silly moments that we had in there weren't cut in, so it's so interesting that like my silly moments were. But I guess I also like was struggling with love in there, whereas other people weren't. So like my moments are very much.
You're
just
quite
me.
featured. You're quite featured.
My moments are just like me having a goof, because that's what I was like focusing on, because I like didn't have anyone else to focus on, if that makes sense. And just like, yeah, I just was like, I love to like make other people feel comfortable, and it's obviously such a new environment, so I just wanted to make sure that people were like having a laugh and like all of that.
Bringing everyone in
That
together.
was whenever I first went in. Actually, it was Meg and Amy, like, were the two that really made me feel at home. Like, cause it was a bit like daunting. It was so weird because in my head I was thinking, right, I'm coming in like a day later. It's not going to be that like clicky or anything. But I came in and everyone was like,
It
and
was
I
a
like,
group, but everyone was banding together. I think that's the thing.
But,
And then you sort of need the people that will bring you in. Would you have changed anything about how you were portrayed?
Yes.
I love that.
I wouldn't have been so serious. I think I found it extremely vulnerable. Like when I say I forget that the cameras were there, I also was hyper aware of it in the same way.
Of course,
because
you can't not be. It's a camera,
Yeah, for
right?
me it would be like angles.
I was
Always be like reaching for a pillow to like.
I was struggling a little bit with like my ego, like before I went in. So this is what the whole like switch was after I came out. So I would have like dropped my ego because like I can just see how reserved I am. Whereas I think I was scared about being perceived and who I actually am and being hated for it. So then therefore I kept my walls up, and that's why I was a little bit more reserved.
Let me tell you that as a viewer that binged it all in 24 hours, you came across really well. And you were wonderful to watch, and you were
So
a
the
lot of
walls
fun.
worked. The walls worked.
The walls worked. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed both of you. I actually thought both of you were incredible and really, really interesting. And just, sorry, I hate to say this, but great TV.
True.
Yeah. And then I guess the other thing is, what was it like watching yourself? That's the big question. Had you both done any other TV to that scale?
I liked it, but I mean, I'm very self-critical. So.
Yeah, I think that
Of course, I think that's a natural human trait. Let's be honest.
I think that was my biggest fear going into the show. And like one of my friends said to me, they were like, "What if you look ugly on TV?" I was like, "Oh!" And like, yeah, I think that was my biggest fear. Was not what other people were going to think of me so much, but was what I was going to think of myself. But there was bad angles and there was good angles.
I think you both look great. And the thing I liked about the show as well is that everyone was just embracing different shapes, different sizes, different kind of body parts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was like different colors of skin, different sexualities, different ways they identified with their gender as well. That was the best thing. It's never really been shown on camera, ever.
Definitely.
That's the thing.
And I think that's another thing is like what made me feel so comfortable out there was how uplifting everybody was. Like anytime you'd get changed or like, you know, anytime anyone would get dressed up or like put something, like say for example, Leisha would wear like a really feminine bikini or like dress more feminine. She just gets so hyped up, and it was just like such a nice environment to be in. That's that we really weren't like sticking to these like toxic traits that kind of generally have been associated with women, like being
and have been associated with reality TV. Let's be honest, it's sort of, we never see different types of women or men actually on reality TV. So it was really
so
nice
refreshing.
to see.
And then also I feel like that was great from the producer's side as well. Like there was one moment when I was dressed as Jennifer Coolidge, and
the epic, legendary moment. Let's be honest, that's gonna go down. Your boots that kept coming up,
I know,
that were a fan favorite, and you're not wearing them today, but you know,
which is so.
No, I've posted a TikTok today, and everyone in the comments says, "Where are her boots?"
Every time I post,
you can't wear anything else, you know, ever. Like, were you wearing them in the shower?
Literally,
Like,
they
absolutely.
come off in the pool. But yeah, so like with the producers, so when I was dressed as Jennifer Coolidge, it was a really hot night that night as well, and I was like very flustered, and then 2 new girls came in.
Yes.
And I was like...
Which is, I kind of, you know, if 2 new love interests come in and you're dressed as Jennifer Coolidge, that's not the highlight of feeling sexy. I mean, you did look sexy embracing that, but I feel it's not the highlight of feeling sexy.
No, it's exactly that. And I felt very like, oh my God, I need to be impressed with these girls. But firstly, they're both femmes, so like, that's my type. And I was just like...
Famously.
And then like...
Femme for femme, yes, of course,
yes. And then I... kind of like had a bit of a meltdown. I was just like a bit of a panic, bit of a like a low-key proper panic attack. And one of the producers, like big dog producer, came down and just talked to me. She was like, "Amy, just go change into something you feel comfortable, like all of this," and just very much talked me off that ledge. And like to have that kind of like support
was great.
It's just great. Yeah.
Did you feel supported actually by the production team post, during, and after? Sorry, actually that is after. Pre, during, and post.
Yeah, I mean, I very much did. My dad went through a major heart surgery 2 days in.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, so like they were very supportive in terms of like making sure that I could speak to him before and after and giving me updates on his like condition and everything. And then there was like a mental health nurse who was on call 24 hours a day. So if we ever needed to come talk, we could talk to her. And she was very like would throw our microphones away and just be like, "This is just us now." And it's just like, that was really like reassuring.
Actually, that's lovely to know, because you never hear about this side.
Yeah.
You never ever hear about the side, that sort of the caring side. You notoriously get the headlines of people that unfortunately have been harmed by it, and never the side when they're protecting you.
I mean, I can only speak from my experience, and my experience was really good in terms of that.
I think I definitely felt supported. There was only a brief period where I didn't really feel that supported. But that's just due to things that were out of my control and production's control. So, but apart from that, everything was good.
Yeah, I think everyone will have a different opinion, to be honest.
So okay, so let's go on to like what the fans said, because obviously you had to wait around until the show aired. So what was the time period between when you filmed and when you aired?
9 months?
So 8 months, 9 months.
Right, okay.
A baby, basically.
September. Yeah, we filmed in September and it came out in May.
So when you gave birth, clearly.
Yeah, when we gave birth to the show.
When you gave birth to the show, what was the fan reaction like? What was the reach out? How did you feel about that?
It was actually like crazy. Like even the build up to it, we seen someone from America post a TikTok and it got like 1 million views, and we were like, weird.
Yeah, and like all of their like responses from before the show was even out was really like different to like how we thought they would respond. Like they were picking up on things that we'd never even thought they would pick up on. So it would be like me being like, I'm femme for femme, and like a gay man trapped in a lesbian's body, because I'm like super camp, super like very much live in for gay culture.
I can completely empathise. I am that human.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah. And so like that's very much like that. And then they were all like, oh my God, sounds like she needs therapy, or like he needs therapy and testosterone because he's a trans man trapped in a woman's body. I was like, no, babe, just take the irony, darling.
Yeah.
To be fair, there was a big American audience on like the TikToks before it came out.
Yeah.
So I think we were picked up a little bit differently.
Yeah, because the English obviously like.
It's sort of, the English humour is hard to sort of translate into the Americans.
And I mean,
we love
vice
them
versa
dearly.
for
but-
Americans. I mean, we don't.
so true. But it was very, like,
and also the accents. How do the Americans cope with the accents? That's the thing.
How did I could barely understand them.
I get called Scottish all the time.
I do hear that some of my friends watch with subtitles. I'm just gonna put it out there. But did you have sort of personal fan stories reaching out to you now? And
So many, like inundated with messages just about the representation, and even in person, people will like flag me down on the street and just be like, "This is what like my inner child is healing," and it's exactly like, it's so gratifying. And
can you like sort of name, without sort of giving away, you know, that person's identity or anything to do with that? Can you sort of tell us like one personal story of one person that came up to you that was kind of the most touching, I guess?
Mine is whenever, because I'd get a lot of people messaging me saying like, you really helped me feel more comfortable in my femininity, and it's those ones that I'm like, like I'm like, this is so good, like I just made the change myself and I'm already like helping other people, and it just feels like so nice. Like selfishly it feels so nice, but it's just feeling like proud of all these people that have gone through the same thing that I've went through. And like also people, it's so silly, but being like, you've like got me away from the straight girls and go.
We need to let the straight girls go. There's enough of a queer community.
Let them go.
There's enough of bi, pan. You've got a smorgasbord of women out there.
Exactly.
Or non-binary people. Come on, like it's open to everyone. Okay, and Amy, for you, do you have a story of a fan that stood out?
I think for me, it's a lot of my messages are like people always tell me I'm too much, and like people have really related with my journey in there when, say, Hannah said that I'm a lot and I talk too much, and people were just like, you've made me realize that like I'm perfect the way I am, and I should lean into my too muchness because that is so authentic to myself, and just like will be received so well. Do you know?
I have to ask, did you get abuse? Was the social media cruel, and how you dealt with that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been very lucky with my response, especially towards the end. Going back to your earlier question on how are we perceived from the public, it changed week by week as the episodes came out. And in the very beginning, people just saw me as the posh Surrey girl, and who was always saying that she's fan for fam. So as my story kind of developed, that completely changed, and I had people messaging me or making TikToks being like, wait, I hated Amy in episode 1, but like now I'm obsessed with her, and it's just like that kind of transition. But the other girls, I think, kind of.
Yeah, it definitely did change week by week, and as the show was coming out, it was quite scary because there was a time like around episode 4 and 5 we finally got to watch the rest of the show before everyone else, and there was I definitely had a bit of a little feeling in my tummy before one of the final episodes came out, and there was a bit of a interaction, I'll say, between Priya and myself, and I was very concerned because at the end of the day, it is an edit, so it's not, you don't get to see the full story, so it would be very easy for people to perceive things differently as to how they were. So that was the only real fear that I had. But I mean, overall, kind of all right. I mean, there were some decisions that had to be made throughout my time in the masseria that obviously a lot of people won't agree with, and that's fine, but it hasn't been too bad, to be honest.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, you both came across really well. Honest, real, human, and, sort of through your kind of ups and downs and struggles, I actually really felt you. And I think that's the most important thing when you come to TV and broadcast. Unless you're prepared to be real, if you're going to put on the front, put on a persona, that never is going to land. That's never going to touch people's hearts. And I think you both really touch people's hearts. I guess my question, would be, what would be the biggest piece of advice you'd give to someone wanting to go on a reality TV show?
I think you've got to be aware that you're going on reality TV, firstly. They tell you that as well. It's so funny, we'd have all these, pre-checks before we went in, mental health checks and stuff, and they're like, you're going on reality TV, you need to be aware of that. And we're like, yeah. And you can't really know what that's like until you've actually done it. So I guess that kind of negates that. But just be yourself at the end of the day.
I'd people say that's the main thing, because if you try to be anything but yourself, people will pick up on it. So it's just not a good idea. Just don't do it.
Yeah, people can smell that from a mile off if you're being fake and if you're not genuine. So be yourself.
So if people want to see you, meet you, where can they see you? And it's Pride tomorrow. Will you be marching, and will you be there?
Yeah.
Can people catch a glimpse of you?
Yeah. So I'm marching for Switchboard, a charity which is really great and close to my heart. So see me in the Switchboard Parade.
And I'm walking with Diva magazine.
If you could have explored a connection with someone else on the
We've
show,
had this question.
who would it be?
For me, I fancied Cara from the beginning.
Right,
Now
okay.
it's like so firmed in the friend zone that I would absolutely never go
I
there,
mean,
but-
you were sort of blocked from her.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was from the beginning.
Yeah. So mine would be from the bat would probably be Cara.
I'm going to go with, I think I would have tried a little bit harder with Amy.
Darling. it's
No,
never
just
too
because
late.
we actually get on so
Yeah.
well. Obviously, it's not like that, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we were so like calm, cool, and, like with each other that like it was so easy
yeah.
just to go like that.
Separate.
But even like in a friendship way, like I would have just like
Yeah.
stay by your side.
We had,
We had bedtime giggles. They
Yeah,
were
we literally so many giggles.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Amy, for
Thanks.
sharing your experience. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you on other things. Can you give us a link to your socials or anything else that you'd like to say where you're going to be?
Yeah. You go first. I'm at Amy Spalding _ on Instagram and at Amy Spalding 6 on TikTok.
I'm at Pimp the Imp, PIMP,
Great.
THEIMP.
Yeah.
Basically on everything.
Perfect. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you and hearing more about your future journeys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
for having us.